context, a grown man, well, young man,
Mhm.
crying in his car, realizing that, well, let's go to it because I wanted to, I'm not gonna play the entire video because it's 2 minutes and 3 seconds long, and it is
Right.
brutal to watch, but I do think that there's something to be said here that, I wanted to get your take on. So let's just play a little bit of it.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm currently driving to work, crying. But it's not even because I don't like what I do or I'm not grateful. But I feel like anyone who's in the early 20s is like, like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we like are growing up in a world that's like practically falling apart, and it's so hard to stay positive when kind of everything's thrown at you. I feel like obviously college doesn't teach you much. I'm not even looking at the camera. Shit.
Based.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a man, and I am scared to cry, and I'm scared to film, and I'm scared to be vulnerable. But at the end of the day, it's like right now it just sucks, and it's hard, and I'm beyond grateful for the job I have and for the life I'm living. But I hold a lot in, and I think at the end of the day, it's okay to let it out and be honest with people. And yeah, it's just been a lot on my plate, and I don't know if anyone else can relate to it, but if you're in your early 20s and you are a male or a female or whatever your pronouns are, it's hard. But we all make it through. I know that. But at the end of the day, it's okay to feel things. It's okay to feel emotion and pain and be vulnerable and talk to people if you need to talk to people. Um, yeah. I just thought I would share this, I guess. It's
Okay. Okay, so first of all, fine. Beta, okay, fine. I hear you, right? I hear people making fun of him,
Right.
okay? But one of the things that I do on my channel, yes, the pronouns thing is hilarious, but that's Gen Z, right? That's or Gen Alpha,
Exactly.
really, or whatever. That's just whatever. I actually think he was having a real moment, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Crap, I'm recording a TikTok," so I have to be, like, politically correct. But this actually breaks my heart because, you know, I I I have a lot. I mean, most of my viewership is male.
Mhm.
Some 93% of it. Shout out to my 7% female viewers. But, you know, I think that this is a real emotion that this kid is
Mhm.
having that a lot of 20-year-old men are having. And I think ultimately there's actually another interesting what I thought was a pretty like brutal TikTok about the devaluation of men and
Mhm.
that just how difficult it is. And, obviously women are probably feeling the same way, but that society has they have not prepared these kids for the truth of the matter, and
Right.
they're completely unprepared to deal with reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It is easy to sit back and laugh on one hand, and I see chat be
Yeah,
like,
it's funny,
man
yeah.
up," which is like, I get that, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel bad for him as well, and he's just becoming a man, like, people are growing up later now than they used to, and so
Very much later, yeah.
I also
Yeah.
think there's something to be said about how society is right now. I think a lot of people are just kind of floating aimlessly, where society is different than it was like back when I was his age and I was, getting into the workforce and all that kind of stuff. I was content. I might not be like, "Oh, yay, we are going to work at Best Buy today." But I was still like, "Hey, I was content in the
Shout out
moment."
to Best Buy, I worked there.
Oh, you
We
did? Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
funny.
I worked
Yeah.
in PC home.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did customer service, so I was right there with the geek squad. I would hang out with
Yeah,
them every day. But yeah, so I felt some sort of, I don't know, accomplishments in my life. I was looking forward to things like, okay, I'm just getting started with my life as an adult, and I felt like I was ready for it, and I welcomed it. I welcomed the struggle I had to go through trying to make it financially and all that kind of stuff. But but I don't know. I feel like society's different right now, and I think I don't know if I can even entirely pinpoint it, but I do know that people were a bit more innocent in the
yeah,
world back in the day versus now, and now you're just bombarded with just so much problems going on in the world and things that are going rampant with, like, you've got actual children being mutilated and called transgender and all this stuff. You see a lot of just a lot of division, just a lot of anger, this, that, and the other going on constantly. And people aren't living in the moment and enjoying just their day to day like they
yeah.
used to
I used
when we were younger.
That's how I feel. Like, I remember when I got my first job, I was like, "Okay, I'm making 7.25 an hour. How
Yeah.
many hours do I have to work to get an apartment and then, like,
Yeah.
get a roommate?" You didn't get an apartment by yourself.
Oh
You got
no.
a roommate. Yeah. How many
Exactly.
roommates? Like, the first apartment I had 3 roommates, and,
Yeah.
like, but it was all better than being at home. Not that my home life was great, but it was like, you know,
Right.
you're not at home. And,
Mhm.
like, to add some context to that, here's 59 seconds of what I think this kid is actually feeling.
Mhm.
Adult white males between the ages of, say, 18 and 25 to
The economy sucks. You're probably never going to buy a house. Your degree is useless and left you in mountains of debt. You're nowhere near capable of providing for a wife and kids, and you can't imagine yourself settling down with any of the women in your age bracket anyway, because Disney princess programming and feminism has left them fundamentally unwifeable. You've grown up in a culture which has celebrated every other form of identity besides you, and in exact proportion to how much they're not you, to the point that now schools and companies can hire based on that metric, all the while being told you can't complain or notice any of it because of how privileged you are. And if you don't know how privileged you are, it's because of your privilege. Even though you're basically a debt slave with minimal hope of a financial and familial future because your economy and culture has abandoned you. So a lot of dudes just checked out and started like smoking weed and playing video games. Some of the other ones went to countries where they like white people and men, like Thailand, I guess. And some of them are like, you know what, this is a good challenge. None of it makes sense. It's all going to shit. But fuck it, I want a big house, and if you come on my land, I'm going to shoot you with guns. I want a bunch of kids and a wife churning butter. I'm going to make it happen, you fucks. Tell me.
I mean, like,
He makes some good points. I
yeah,
think that especially when he's talking about just like the dating element of it. In this case, a man trying to find a wife when they all want they all want this like diva treatment.
mhm,
I feel like we see both sides of the uh, both sides just being selfish in a way.
yeah, yeah.
You see women teaching other women and young girls to, oh, be selfish. You can't, oh, a date at Chili's. No,
That's
that's
bad.
garbage.
Cheesecake
That's
Factory,
trash.
that's
Yeah,
trash. Yeah,
Cheesecake Factory. No, you're better than that. Oh, a coffee date. You're too good for that. A first date getting a
yeah,
coffee. It's like, what? And so they expect, oh, you need a guy that's taking you to these super expensive restaurants and this and that. And they're teaching girls to be gold diggers, and then you
mhm.
have these dudes
They're
that
teaching
are,
men that all women are bad too.
yeah, that
Right?
are
Yeah,
saying all women are
yeah,
bad, or that yeah, and so instead you've got this battle of the sexes, and it's almost like a chess game when they teach you how to date. I the way that it has always been before was like you didn't go into dating and looking for uh your husband or wife in the mindset of you didn't have like a selfish mindset going into it. You were looking for somebody who could be your partner in life and
yeah.
you could do life together. And I think also hookup culture has really messed things up with a lot of people. So
It
yeah, even
commodified
that's,
relationships. It was like,
yeah.
"Oh, you can just get another one. You can just get another one
Yep.
on the next app. You can just get another one." And it ruined it. It made
It really
hookups, it
did.
made dating, it made partners a commodity, a click, and that's how people started treating it, and That's why men are unhappy, and that's why women are unhappy.
Yep.
And it's sad to see.
Yeah, and everybody just has a lot more selfish of a mindset. And
Yep.
I remember, back before my brothers found their wives, they were trying to do like research and all that kind of stuff on how they can improve themselves.
Keep talking, but you're right back.
Okay. So you're looking at, and I know I've done this before in the past as well. It's like, okay, how can I be a better person? How can I be a good date? How can people, like, if I'm going to look for a husband, what are qualities that I need to have, or I would be a good wife, things like that. But now when you see all this dating advice, it's what can they do for you? It's all people just completely lose sight of wanting to find love and actually falling in love and being the best you can for them. And they will hopefully be doing the same. So yeah, people have just become so selfish and have taught being so selfish. And that what you'll find, even if you see, like, think about when we were little kids and stuff, playing on the playground, this, that, and the other. It's always the selfish, spoiled kids that were the most miserable, right? Like, I was just telling them, like, it's always the selfish kids growing up that when we're playing with other kids and stuff, the selfish ones, the spoiled ones, they always got everything they wanted. They always got their way. They were always so miserable.
They were the bullies too.
They were.
Yeah.
And they were never happy. Yeah.
Shout out to co-host. I would not have made it. I would have needed one of those gamer chairs with the bathroom in it. I was like, okay, we're wrapping up. And then Melanie's like, well, which reminds me of, I'm like, I'm not gonna make it.
Gotta go.
Action T says, sorry, but this is a parenting issue. My son, now 21 and in college, had his moment in middle school. I was there for him and taught him how we handle this as a Christian. He knows how to cope. I agree. I think that Gen Alpha, I think they're talking about the kids melting down.
Mhm.
I don't want to sound like a boomer when I say this, and I don't mean it in like a negative way, but like legitimately the participation trophy generation, the helicopter parent generation is why these kids are having breakdowns when they're 25 instead of 15. It's normal when you're 15.
Exactly.
Your girlfriend breaks up for you with you and you think your world is ending. It's not normal when you're 25.